welcome to the Pig and Whistle Tales from Azeroth. As always, here at the Pig and Whistle Inn in Stormwind, I go through a variety of subjects with regards to World of Warcraft. So grab a bottle or a pint, sit back and enjoy. This midweek episode, we'll be going over the good old forums and seeing what we can disagree to this week, seeing what stupid posts are up there, what smart posts are up there, if any, and just generally what is happening in WoW at the moment with regards to what the player base thinks is happening and their troubles and concerns is the best way to put it. So, we will start off with a very light-hearted one and a good sort of joke is the best way to put it. Moonglade guards. Okay, what do you think this is going to be about? You reckon it's going to be about the guards, attacking people and like defending the town when it's meant to be a non-PvP zone? Or, is it meant to be like there's too many guards so it lags the server, too little? What could it be? Moonglade guards are still killing players for no reason. I'm shocked that this, along with countless other bugs, have not been fixed over a month into the expansion. I have already turned off my reoccurring subscription charge, and I'm teething on the edge of keeping it that way and playing other games where the devs are actually competent. Okay. Hi. Let's just go over this one more time. He is unsubscribed because Moonglade guards kill players for no reason. Now, this is a bug, obviously, but there's got to be something that triggers this bug, whether it's he's hearthed while he's in combat with a Horde player, and his Hearthstone is in Moonglade, so it's technically counting him as in combat with Horde, therefore the guards will take action, or it might just simply be that, Thrall is also bugged and will just randomly kill someone. It is what it is. Now, let me get this straight. He has cancelled his WoW subscription because Moonglade guards are bugged and kill people randomly. How ridiculous does that sound? Okay, so I understand if it was Stormwind or Orgrimmar, a major city. You walk into a major city and the guards are just basically hostile. Like, that's no good, is it? You don't want that happening. But Moonglade is a tiny little zone at the very tippity top of Kalimdor, okay? This zone has very few quests, very few breadcrumbs, and very few important things that are up there, okay? It is not a zone that is used a lot in the game. Druids are the main class that go there. And apart from that, you have a introduction into Mount Highjout that you do to get there. And I think there's a couple other, maybe like Lunar Festival, you can go there, but that's not for another 8 odd months, I'm pretty sure. So, yeah, he has quit his subscription because he doesn't like a bug that occurs or that affects probably 0.01% of the classic population. That is got to be the smartest subscription cancel I've ever seen. Now, don't get me wrong, bugs can be annoying. Some of them can be annoying. Like if you can't do a quest, you can't carry on with any sort of quests or anything. That's fine. I understand them sort of bugs can be infuriating. But this is probably a bug that literally doesn't mean anything. It will not affect how people play the game. It will affect it will affect no other aspects at all. Now, he says other bugs in the game. I haven't seen a lot of other bugs. I'm not going to lie to you. I've seen people being like, oh my god, this is ridiculous, but they aren't bugs. Now, Thrall killing people randomly is a bug. Now, don't get me wrong, I find that one hilarious. I think that you go up to Thrall to start your Deep Home quests, and you talk to him, and he'll tell you to get on the Wyvern and go into the Maelstrom. You talk to him, he turns around, swings his fucking hammer at you, and you're gone. You're dead. But you press Release Spirit, and you res literally right next to him. It literally doesn't make any difference at all. It's a funny bug. It happens once every few characters, if that. I have yet to experience it. I know a couple of my guildies have experienced it, but they just laughed it off, and it was quite funny to see loads of skeletons around Thrall. So these sort of bugs are very fun, I'm not going to lie. And This guy's a paladin. He can just bubble and run away. All right? He can just bubble the guards, run away, get to a place where even if he dies, the guards won't be near him. So he just simply reses and then half-stones. Or flight paths out. Because the flight paths in Moonglade are not the actual flight paths. The flight paths in Moonglade are south of the town, and I think southwest for Horde. I don't know the confirmation on the Horde flight path, but I'm pretty sure it's southwest. Now, they have, I'm pretty sure, 0 guards around them, the flight paths. They have just the flight master themselves. You can simply run away, res, and then, well, you can actually mount up now. You can mount up and just fly yourself. It's Cataclysm. You can just fly in Azeroth now. Like, it's the most ridiculous reason I think I've ever seen of cancelling a subscription, because some NPCs are bugged in a very remote corner of Azeroth where barely anyone goes to do anything. It's ridiculous. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say to this one. So, the next one. Blizzard, most of your core classic player base is still waiting for fresh vanilla or TBC. You can see where this is going. Anyone who plays Kata can see the massive upstick in retail players. Your core audience, the classic exclusive players, consider WoW dead with the Lich King. We want fresh classic, especially after you bungled SOD. Just saying, bungled is literally the word that he's put. With hard phase 3. Just give us a proper fresh vanilla already. Kata is the poorest performing classic to date, and you can see it. We all saw it coming. Or even better, TBC. Greatest WoW experience in its history. Okay. Firstly, classic. There are classic era servers, okay, where it is literally just classic WoW. They are servers that are just for classic. They exist. Go play them. Jesus Christ. Stop complaining about, oh my god, fresh classic server. Go play classic era. That's what it is. That's what it's there for people who want to play classic. It's not rocket science, is it? Jesus. As for the upstick in retail PvP and the WoW being dead after Wrath, I have seen so many people in Stormwind. I have seen so many people out and about in the world. I've seen more people in the world of Warcraft than I had in Wrath. That's my honest view of it. Towards the end of Wrath of the Lich King, you barely saw anyone, unless you were in Dalaran. Now, I see loads of people in Stormwind leveling. I see loads of people just making new characters and leveling, which is really, really good. But you can't say WoW is dead just because you don't like the expansion. It's crazy. It's so, it's ridiculous. It's like, oh my god, WoW's dead. No matter what, expansion you're on, whether it be retail, classic, SOD, whatever, everyone will just go, classic's dead, or retail's dead, or season of discovery's dead, or classic era's dead. They always say it, and it's not really true, is it? Because there are still a lot of people playing World of Warcraft, but because they're on different realms, you don't really see it. And then suddenly people have a problem when realms want to be merged, and it's like, oh my god, but the community, and it's like, the community's always been shit since classic. There's always been dickheads in classic. All right, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. There's been so many people who are not friendly in classic, who are actively bad people in classic. The community in classic, yes, it's nice to have, but ultimately everyone's like, oh my god, it will bring it'll bring a lot of people who don't respect the community and stuff. You already had a lot of that. I can name you a few from my realm that is no longer up that were like that. Okay. As for TBC, greatest WoW experience in history, I get that that's going to be rose-tinted goggles because it's the first expansion. But if we break it down, you're looking at reputation farming, and that's via picking Coilfang armaments, Fel armaments, the Mark of the Illadaris. You're just turning in stuff to get rep. That's it. Besides that, your gear-wise comes from raids still. Now, 25-man raid, I think, is good, and 10-man raids. But for those smaller guilds, 10-man raids were all you could do, so you're cucked on gear. You'd have to do pugs. As for PvP, arenas were so unbalanced because it's the first iteration of arena. It's where arenas were born, and I'm okay with it being unbalanced if that's where it starts, because you evolve it over time. But PBC, no, not the greatest experience in WoW's history. Wrath is up there. Legion is very, very good. I think that Legion having the artifact weapon system, the first expansion to have it, is what makes it good. But subsequent expansions, such as BFA, that have that grind, like with Azeroth and stuff, is a bit shittier because you already did it in Legion. But honestly, Mr. Pandaria is very good. Warlords of Draenor's content is very good. But the patch cycle itself was really shit because we were waiting very long for the expansions to come or patches to come out, which is what made it bad. Now, yeah, I don't know. TBC, the greatest experience in WoW history. Again, it's subject to opinion. This guy thinks it is. Fair enough. That's on him to think that. I personally don't think so. I think that TBC was a very mediocre expansion. I think the raids were all right in terms of their settings, but boss mechanics, they're kind of the same. They're very similar. They're very simple. As for the characters that were in TBC, very good characters, lore characters-wise. So that's a bonus for it. But in my opinion, that's all it is, lore character-wise. They could have done so much more with like Kel'Thas in like later expansions, or even Lady Vash. It's crazy to think that people have these differences of opinions. Because fair play, if you think TBC is your greatest ever WoW experience, that's your opinion. My personal one is Legion. I really enjoy Legion. I have played every single expansion now. And it's crazy to think that I've played every single expansion. But Legion, honestly, is one of my most enjoyable experiences. That's with regarding to the artifact power. Like, that part wasn't great, but I enjoyed having the war mode. I enjoyed having the artifacts themselves. You felt very powerful with these items, and you could get multiple cosmetics for them and customizations, etc. But yeah, Legion, in my personal personal opinion, is probably one of the greatest experiences that you can have in WoW because of how good it was, because of how quick the patch cycle was, because of the characters in it, because of the lore drops, because of all of that stuff. Now, again, it's subject to change. But this leads me on to the last one, where now I'll keep from talking about it for the moment, but I've lost my train of thought. I had something there. Anyways, let's restart my brain. Yes, I'm pretty sure that Classic isn't dead. And this whole, oh my god, there's so many uptick in retail players or whatever he's referred to it as. Retail players have always been playing Classic. And the thing is, the players who play retail, I'm not saying all of them, but I would say a lot of them keep to themselves and don't cause any fuss. I would argue that Classic players cause more of a fuss on Classic than retail players do on Classic, and yet retail players are the blame for the community going to shit. That's my honest opinion with it. I think that it's ridiculous, because I will always stand by this. You will always see 10 posts that are like, oh my god, this guy's a dickhead and stuff, but you will never see a post that says, oh my god, this guy was really good in our group. You know, anything like that. You just don't get to see that. You see the 10 people who were being dickheads, but the one post that says, oh my god, this guy's amazing, you never see that, because no one ever puts it, you know? So it's a complete, like, imbalance of the information that's going out there, and therefore it's like, oh my god, it's absolutely ridiculous that all of these players are retail players, and it's like, how do you know that? How do you know that they're retail players? Can you fully confirm that they only play retail and have just started playing Classic? No, you can't. Because, again, in the very first server I was in, back in Classic, the people that I interacted with were private servers and Classic players. They don't like retail, and yet they were the most obnoxious and, dickish people that I've ever met. That's it. That's a fact. But you don't see me going on the forums and being like, oh my God, classic players are so toxic, do you? Because retail players don't do that. They don't care. They get on with it. Whereas classic players are like, oh my God, this is ridiculous. It has to be a retail player. That's my experience, okay? That's what a lot of people have said and what a lot of people do in classic. And I would very much like to prove me wrong somehow. Like, I would love for people to send me posts of like, oh my God, this guy was actually really good, and like praising people, or give me data that they played retail and that they main retail, like fully main retail. Okay? Give me that proof. And then I'll be like, okay, your argument holds some sort of like validation, if that makes sense. It's just crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But I'm going to move on to the last one, and this one is a little one just to sign off with. Still no Warglaive hotfix. Okay, what do you think this is about? Warglaives in Classic? That seems weird. It's an absolute crime that Blizzard is doing, robbing Warglaive owners of the right to transmog their favourite legendary. Okay, so Warglaives are swords. They are deemed as swords by the game. So you have every right to think that, you know, you can't transmog your Warglaives. Yeah? Wrong. In Classic, they announced that they would bring transmog, more retail version of transmog, into the game. This retail version of transmog is from Legion. End of Legion transmog, okay? Now, you couldn't customize your Warglaives or the Warglaives of Azeroth until patch 8.3, which is Visions of N'Zoth. That is the Nyalotha patch in Battle for Azeroth, okay, where you kill N'Zoth. That is 4 whole expansions away, okay? That's like how crazy it is. So it isn't a bug, it's just not in the game and in the transmog system. And the thing is, the way that you transmog your Warglaives is via doing a quest chain in that patch. I'm pretty sure you have to do Old Black Temple during time walking, if I wasn't mistaken. It's something like that. And you were allowed to transmog your Warglaives. It was that simple. But this person is misinformed and thinks that they should be allowed to transmog their Warglaives. Now, in my opinion, I think that you should be able to as well. I think that it is something that you've kept hold of, and you have. I think you should be allowed to transmog it. But they are running off of a system already where you have Legion transmog in Cataclysm, therefore that's colliding. You have multiple different things bouncing off each other in terms of the, spaghetti code. So if you change it where you can suddenly switch on, like, your Warglaive transmog, potentially, it might break the entire server. That's no joke. It probably might, because they have different aspects from multiple different areas of World of Warcraft in Cataclysm. So you will get your Warglaives, but not now. You'll get it soon. It's that simple. You will be fine without having your Warglaive transmogged. Okay? It's not make or break. It's not going to be the end of the world. Okay? Some of the comments here, though, are quite funny. It's not a bug. Only demon hunters can transmog more Warglaives. It's still like this in retail. Yeah, he is correct. And then the reply from it is, this isn't retail. Like, he's literally given a very good explanation as to what it is in retail and why you can't transmog your Warglaives. Yeah, he's given a good reason. And the response from someone who I would imagine, or I'm going to use their logic, only a classic player would give, is this isn't retail. What does that serve? What purpose does that argument serve? It serves nothing, does it? It's a ridiculous argument. It just doesn't prove any sort of point. Like, yes, it isn't retail, but he's given you reasons as to why you can't transmog Warglaives rather than just say it's not a bug, because he's given proof that it's not a bug, whereas this guy has just said it isn't retail. He's just provided information for this person's post. It's crazy. But that's what I think with the community. Like, classic players like that are the ones who are loudest and the most dickish to speak up on the forums, on in-game, or anything like that. But yeah, it is what it is. But that is where I will end this episode. Thank you all very much for listening. Do check out all of the socials down below. Constant stuff happening over there. But once again, thank you all very much, and go with Valor, friend. Goodbye, all.